Welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. Today we are going to repair this very crooked, very holy wall behind me. So I'll take you in here and show you what all is wrong with it and give you the plan on what we're doing to fix it. So this is one of the walls inside our dining room. We just got done with flooring and painting and fixing some other things, tearing some other things out. And we were left with this wall. This wall had some paneling on the bottom and some trim across it to kind of cover up this drywall that wasn't finished. It has some switches and plugs there kind of at chest level in the middle of the wall. And then there's some holes in the wall where there were some wall sconces up there that where we had a mirror hanging covering those holes before. And there's live wires in them from that switch. And so we got some electrical things to fix up. But the big thing with this wall is that it is super wavy. So if you look down here, I have a piece of this furring strip, which is fairly straight, and you can see the gaps in it. So it's wavy down there, and there's a big dip in it right here. If you look in here, there was actually drywall, and then they just kind of drywalled over the old drywall, and so these boxes are sunk back in here quite a bit, so that's going to be a challenge. So we've got some things that we need to fix, and we want to do something kind of special on this wall. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to level it off or straighten it off using those furring strips and some wedges and other things, and then we're going to panel over this with 1/4-inch paneling and get this all flattened out, and we're going to move the outlets, move that outlet down and cover some other things up, and then we'll show you what we're doing from there. We're going to have one right here. Alright, this thing is, this wall is not straight in every direction. So what we're going to do is put these strips up along the ends, and then we've got another one already at that end, basically that wall that comes out. And so we're going to be able to run a string between this point and that point. That'll give us our perfect line here. That'll show us where the wall is curved, and then we can shim out our furring strips as we go across. So it's not going to be perfect. We're not going. It's so off that in some areas we can't. If we furred it out, you know, to straight, it would be an inch off the wall. And I only have 2.5-inch nails. They wouldn't even make it through that extra inch plus this 3/4 plus the drywall into a stud. So we're going to have to make this as straight as possible, but it's not going to be perfect. I'm using 2-inch brad nails to get this just kind of held in place. And then I'm coming back with these 2.5-inch 6D nails that will really get into the studs and actually secure these furring strips, because our paneling and then our feature wall is going to be all kind of mounted to these strips, and so we want them to be in some studs. So we're going to put this strip right on the center of this line. So let's put this just above it. You just pull it there. All right, so we've got most of the furring strips put up here, and it turned out pretty good. Most of the bow in the wall was right here in the center, so you can see we've got that shimmed out pretty far. And so now what we need to do is put some connecting pieces in along these studs where the end of our paneling is going to meet. So there'll be a seam right here for paneling, and I need to cut these shims off. So I'm going to use an oscillating tool to cut the shims off at the flush with those furring strips. and then we'll get our paneling cut to put in here. So I think this is gonna take all 4 sheets of 1/4-inch paneling that I bought, so hopefully we don't screw up any cuts. The rest of these shims we'll leave in here. So the SSL Family Mom is cutting all of those pieces to length, and I'll get the shims cut, and then we'll start putting our paneling in. And we've decided to leave this outlet at this level, but we're just gonna move it out, obviously, and put it as a single gang instead of a double gang. So we'll make an adjustment there in just a little bit. And then those ones, the wires will get disconnected, so those will be just buried in there, but there'll be no live wires. All right, so we've got most of the furring strips in there. This is all junk wood, so it's bowed and curved and stuff like that. That doesn't really matter as long as it gives us the height, you know, fix, or the depth fix on the wall. And you can see, I mean, we've got quite a bit of gap in a lot of these places here where that wall was super bowed out. So this should make it look fairly straight. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect still, but it's gonna look a lot better. So there's a couple options that you can use to cover. What I'm using is actually a 1/4-inch plywood. There's Luan, there's MDF that's pretty, I think they have a half or even maybe a 1/4-inch or smaller MDF panels. There's lots of different options, but I really like plywood. This stuff is not the cheapest option, but plywood is pretty durable, so that's what I decided to go with. So we're gonna put these panels up on the walls, and we're gonna use some construction adhesive on all those furring strips to get a nice, good connection, make sure that everything stays nice and tight. And then we're gonna put some brad nails in to connect this to the furring strips. But before we do that, we're gonna sink some longer nails into this furring strip. There's all brad nailed right now. So we're gonna sink some 2.5-inch nails into that to get into some studs. So I'm going to set the depth on this down. Grab those switches and kind of pull them through. So since we furred the wall out about 3/4 of an inch plus a 1/4 inch of paneling, we've got about 1 inch that we had to extend these outlet boxes. So they actually make these outlet box extenders, and they actually come apart. You can do a single gang or a double gang like our switches here. And you don't even need to really disconnect any wires. These can just be fed through, and this will fit right in, and it extends the box out to your new depth. And then we should be able to just screw these back together, and we'll be good to go. Is that gonna fit? Does it fit up top?
Yeah.
Okay. It's here. I'm not sure why the gap is so big. That Right there. All right, so all of the panels are up, and you know what? It turned out pretty darn straight. If you look down here before, I mean, it was just, we had quite the S-curves in it, and now it's pretty close to perfect. So we're happy with that. I put the outlet covers on. I don't have to take these back off to paint, but I just wanted to make sure that everything kind of was nice and solid and fit together well. We decided to leave this outlet up here, as I said, instead of moving it down. I think with our kitchen table sits right here, and people can plug their phones and things in at that level, so that's fine. So the next step is, we see all these gaps in the paneling. We strategically placed all those so that our 1x4s are going to cover all those gaps. So the next step is going to be to make the feature wall design. We're going to be using the 1x4s for that, and so we're going to have them running in a pattern on here, and so we'll start to get that put together. We are going to be using construction adhesive on the backs of these boards, as well as 2-inch brad nails that should go through the paneling, we have these lined up so that they'll hit those furring strips and then into some of the drywall, I guess. So it should hold on everything on there pretty nice and tight. Well, I think that this project turned out pretty darn good. We're very happy with it. It looks so much better than the crooked wall with the paneling and beadboard and all that stuff that was on there before. And it just really tidied this up and made it straight, and that was the intention. So obviously this project could be done on any wall. You can do all kinds of different designs. You could do angles, you could do smaller squares, bigger squares, you could do whatever you want to do with the 1x4s. There's also cheaper ways to do this. If you have a table saw, you can rip MDF or cheaper types of plywood into strips and use that instead of using the 1x4s. These are a little more expensive to buy them this way. But overall, this thing turned out pretty darn good. So we are going to actually paint this wall. It has not been done yet. We'll go back with some small wood filler or wood putty and fill all the little brad nail holes just with a little fingertip, and then we'll go ahead and give this a coat of paint. So we'll take you guys along probably on Instagram when we get the wall done. If you're following us on Instagram, you'll see the finished product once we have it all painted up and finished. So, but it just such a nice thing in here to get this room kind of all finished up with the new flooring and getting this wall fixed up. This thing was just a big sore spot for us. So hopefully this helps you guys out if you're looking to fix a crooked wall in your home or just kind of spruce up a room, make it look a little bit nicer. It's not super expensive to do. I'll put a link in the description to the paneling, the 1x4s, and the construction adhesive, the brad nail, all the stuff that we use. If you're interested or have any questions about any of the tools or anything like that, I'll put links to all that stuff in the description. Some of it's on Home Depot, some of it's on Amazon, so you guys can check that stuff out. Don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe, of course, if this is your first time to the SSL Family Dad channel. We'd love to have you tag along. We do lots of farming and gardening and DIY projects and repairing things and whatever else we can think of to videotape and take you guys along on around here. So as always, guys, thanks for watching.